Ready to install your dishwasher? Stay tuned because we're going to show you how to do that. Hey, welcome to the Plumbing Gurus. My name's Carson. On this channel, we strive to save you money and keep you informed on all the proper plumbing practices. So if you haven't already, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. Stay tuned and let's get into this video. So I'm going to show you how to install a dishwasher. Not all dishwashers are going to be the exact same thing. There's lots of different styles. I'll kind of go through the different, if you don't see the same thing that I have here, I'll try to explain to you the different types to help you kind of figure out how you're going to do it. It's always going to be kind of the same way you install a dishwasher. It's just every dishwasher is a little bit different. So you just got to look for those things and we'll help you, guide you along to try to help you with that. So just a little backstory here. This dishwasher I'm installing is not brand new. It's a used dishwasher. I bought it. It was upstairs. We used to have one down here. It was brand new. It never got used. This is our bar. So I swapped them. This is the one from upstairs. Now it's down here. I never hooked it up. I just slid it in place. But now we have this YouTube bar channel. It's called Social Barware. Please check it out. Don't forget to subscribe. All we do is make drinks on there. It's just me and my wife. But we need a dishwasher down here. We need to have, it's been kind of a pain in the ass to bring cups and dishes and all the shakers and everything we're doing to mix drinks down here. So I really wanted to hook up a dishwasher. We haven't done a video on dishwashers yet, so we're gonna do that for you right now. Most important thing, once you get it out of the box, you got it unboxed, it's sitting in place, you're looking at it, you have no idea what to do. Well, what I usually like to do first is I like to level it, kind of get it in place before I kind of think too much. Like, we'll go through all the other important stuff, but for me, before I start doing things, I always get it in place, make sure it's level, looking square and good, so that when you do hook it up, you can just slide it in and you're not messing around with leveling it. You might have to make a couple tweaks, just because when you slide it in, sometimes you just gotta watch. There might be the flooring might be different at the back. You gotta watch out for that. In my case, the flooring's the same all the way through. So these are just little things you wanna look for. I'll show you real quick here, kind of what it's supposed to look like. You wanna make it look as square and level as possible, because when people come and look at it, you can say, I hooked that up, and they're not gonna be like, oh, that looks crooked. It's gonna look good, right? Okay, so hopefully you can kind of see this. I'm trying to get as good of a view as possible. What I was saying is you want it to be square. So it's nice and square, looks pretty flat, and we understand sometimes your cabinets can be out of, like, not perfectly square, so you got to do as good of a job as you can. But how you do this to make it level, with this particular dishwasher, under here, just try to show you here, there's a, if you can see it here, you see there's a little thing where you can put a screwdriver in here. This is a really nice, not all dishwashers have this. Most cheap ones don't. We'll go over how you do that. But this one, you just literally screw this whatever direction it's telling you to go up or down. And that's how you level the back leg. And this one actually has two of them. One here, one here. Some dishwashers, they're gonna be in the middle. I believe like the Bosch, Miele, a lot of them there's just one screw here. And that'll do just one full set of legs. But the nice thing about this is you can do all four corners. So you can do the back corner, and then underneath here, you can kind of see, it's hard to see because it's dark, but there's actually a foot here. There's a foot in each front corner too. That you just use like a crescent wrench and adjust it with the crescent wrench, up or down. And then again, when you're doing these legs, you just want to kind of, you can put a level on the dishwasher itself, but unfortunately, even in this scenario, I'm not perfectly level because my cabinets aren't perfectly level. So whoever installed these, wasn't me, I promise, didn't make it perfectly level. So the most important part is what it looks like. Putting a level on it isn't necessarily that important. You want the dishwasher to look good along the cabinets. That's what's important. So I've showed you how my particular dishwasher is. Some dishwashers, they're all gonna have like the feet in the front that you can adjust, but not all of them are gonna have that little screw to adjust the back feet, which is really nice feature with the kind of higher end dishwashers. But if you have like a dishwasher and it doesn't have that screw, there's gonna be there's gonna be wheels at the back a lot of the times, and you can adjust those. A lot of times it's just gonna be like a screw. You literally unscrew the wheel and then put the wheel in a different place. And there's usually like 3 or 4 different settings where you can put the wheel, and each setting will either raise or lower that wheel. So it's a bit of a pain because you got to kind of pull it in and out. Not every dishwasher has this. Unfortunately, you're just gonna have to deal with that. So that's how you're gonna level those. If your dishwasher's sitting like super crooked, that means you got to lower the if it's crooked this way, if it's higher, like coming out at the front at the top there, you're gonna want to lower the back wheels. Or you can sometimes raise the front, but you can only go so far, and you don't want to, like, because you're gonna hit the counter, and that's why you want to have it in there while you're leveling it, because you can level it out here, and then you put it in there, it doesn't fit. So you kind of want to do it while it's in there, and unfortunately, with that style, you're gonna have to pull it in and out, but it's worth making it look good because you're gonna impress your friends. So the next thing you want to do is figure out what kind of water supply you're going to need. They're all 3/8. Everything is a 3/8. We usually just put a 60-inch 3/8 braided flex hose in. You'll see what that looks like in a second here. Hopefully you already got that. If you don't, you're going to need that. You're going to need a braided flex and a dishwasher 90. Not all of them are the same. There's about 3 different types. I'll show you the type I have here. It's just like it's pretty much 1/2 inch MIP by like 3/8 MIP, and it's just a little 90. They call them dishwasher 90s. You're going to want to figure out which one you have, because some of them have like a hose bib adapter, and then there's 2 like kind of different sizes, so you just got to watch out and figure out which one you have. Again, unfortunately, not every single dishwasher is the same, so I can't say whether or not you're going to have this exact situation, but I'm just trying to help you with the basis of how it's installed. Alright, so now we're going to pull the dishwasher out. We're going to see what we got here. So I'm going to show you in a second here. Mine has the drain hose. Drain hose came with it, most should. If you don't have a drain hose and you bought like a used dishwasher, you can pick these drain hoses up at any hardware store. Home Depot has them. You could probably buy them on Amazon. We'll try to find one in a link and put it in there for you. Yeah, so you got your drain hose. You're gonna have to make sure you got power, and we'll go through the whole power situation. You wanna make sure that power is off before you. A lot of people will do this live, but you're gonna wanna make sure you test it, make sure it's off. And then the water line. This is the 3/8 braided hose that I was talking about. It's just a 60-inch braided flex. Now, I've already had a dishwasher pre-installed here. I don't know what your situation is. If it's brand new and like you're doing a big renovation and you're just installing it and you haven't drilled the holes through your cabinet, you're gonna have to drill a hole through your cabinet to get these pieces through. And generally like a 1.5 to 2 inch hole is plenty big enough to get these through together. I usually put them through one of the same holes. Sometimes I'll drill 2 separate holes, just depends on my situation. But for now, I've already got one hole, I'm gonna slide it through there. So on this dishwasher, all my connections are at the front. Again, every dishwasher is going to be a bit different. Find where your water connection is. Get that dishwasher 90 installed. You're going to want to wrap it with Teflon, clockwise, sorry. Always wrap your Teflon clockwise. We do have a video on how to tape and dope things. If you want to learn how to do that, check out a video on that. Teflon, and then we always use pipe dope. You don't need it, just make sure it doesn't leak and it should be good, but I always like to use Teflon tape and dope just to ensure no leaks. So install your 90 on the dishwasher wherever it needs to go, and then you're going to screw your braided flex onto that 90. So again, because all my stuff's at the front, I'm going to go through and slide everything underneath my dishwasher. I'm going to have to put everything through my hole. My wire is already here. I'm just going to leave it along the ground. You can sometimes just pull it and then put some tape down, so that if you're doing this by yourself, it's a lot easier if you just tape the wire down to slide it in if it's at the front. Actually, I'm pretty sure all dishwashers, the electrical's at the front, so you're going to be sliding the electrical out at the bottom. It's just the water line. Some of them hook up at the back. The drain, I'm going to slide this through. I'm going to slide this through my hole in the cabinet itself here. We'll go through that after, and then I'm going to slide it through the front, slide the dishwasher in place, hook up the water, and I'll show you that real quick here. All right, so I've set my dishwasher, and I'll show you real quick my water connection. Another thing to always make sure, and like I said about the power, I have a voltmeter pen. It just tells you whether or not the power is on. I've gone to my breaker and I've shut this off. My breaker is labeled, so I know that it works, but I always double check that it's off. Again, if you can't find it, I've done it before. I have hooked them up live. Don't recommend it. You don't want to electrocute yourself. All right, so as you can see, my water line connection is right here, but just make sure that's tight. Leave this cover off until you test it, so you can test this for leaks. Turn it on, run it. If it's holding water and you just feel around and there's no leaks there, then you know you're good. Then you can put your cover plate back on. And then all I did was I ran my wire underneath. So I ran my wire underneath. This water line, it actually has, it's kind of hard to see, but there's actually a slot on the side here that has a hole for the water line to go through, which is quite nice for this dishwasher. But our wire is going to go right into the electrical box here, and then we'll show you that in a minute here. But and then what I did, all right, so all I did was I fished my drain into the cabinet and my water line into the cabinet. I have a valve already here from before. You're going to want to get a quarter turn ball valve with 3/8 connection. Mine's to PEX. You might have copper, you might have, depending what you have, but either way you're going to need a valve off the hot line. So I got my own separate valve to feed this braided flex. We're going to hook that up. We're going to hook this drain up. And if you don't have a dishwasher well already, if you're doing a brand new one, it's pretty easy. You just find a place upstream of the P-trap. Never put the dishwasher Y downstream of the P-trap. It's got to be upstream of the P-trap so you don't get sewer gases coming out of there. And we're going to show you the hookup of that in a second. Okay, so I'm going to show you the electrical connections. We've done the water connection right there. Now we've got our electrical. The electrical, like I said, came from underneath. I put a nice little connector here to protect it from scratching up against the metal around here. So you got to make sure you got your Moretz. You always go, obviously, well, not obviously, if you don't know, you don't know. Black to black, which is your line, that's your power. White to white, which is neutral. And then green, if you have, well, usually the wire coming out of the actual electrical line is just a copper line. So you're going to go, this is just your ground. Green to the copper line, which is your ground. So you need to make sure you do all these properly. Make sure that they're properly done. Pull on the wires, make sure they're not going to come loose. Make sure you've done a good job at it. And then you can close it up and make it look all nice, and I'll show you that. Alright, so I've put it on. This is just the cover plate to make sure you cover up your electrical. Make sure it's nice and snug in there. Everyone's going to be a tiny bit different, but essentially they all have a little hook somewhere. Mine's got a little hook on the bottom. It just hooks into this part, and then you can't fully see it here, but there's a screw here that I just had to screw back in to hold it nice and tight. So now we got a nice clean looking electrical hookup. Alright, so the next thing you're going to want to do after you've done all that, you're going to want to mount this thing in place. You're going to want to, on this dishwasher, because I don't have granite, I can screw it up to my countertop. So there's these little hooks. Every dishwasher, again, is going to be a little bit different, but they all have little hooks that come with it that can either hook on the top or they go on the side. You can go into the side. If you have granite, see right here, there's a little plug here. This plug just pops out, and then there's a hole for a screw to go through here, and you just screw it to the side of your cabinet. Just make sure you don't use too long of screws. You only have about 3/4, half inch, 3/4 of gable end here on either side. So again, if you need to go through the side, you just pop these little plugs out, drive your screw through here. And every dishwasher, again, is going to be a bit different. Some of them have little bracket things like this that need to be put on so you can properly screw it into the wood. So just make sure you follow those instructions and how to do that part. But those are the two ways you tighten down the dishwasher so it doesn't come barreling out at you when you open it. Alright, so before I go ahead and screw this thing in, we've already been through this process. We made sure it was nice and level. You can make it flush. What I like to do is I always like to look down the left, down the right, down the top. Sometimes I'll open this, make sure it's kind of square within. But as long as you're kind of flush on both sides, And for some reason, sometimes, depending on the depth of your dishwasher or your cabinets, you're not gonna be able to get it all the way in. But ideally, you want it flush with your cabinets because that's what looks the best. So I usually just take my time because I like to only do this once. Make sure it looks nice and good on both sides. Even cracks, you can put your fingers in if you can fit them, and just like make sure you get the same amount on each side. Make sure you're flush, and then pull the. Be careful doing this because you can pull it out of the way. So you usually kind of just pop this open. Take the screws that come with. If you're screwing from the top, and even if you're screwing from the side, they should come with screws. If you're using a used dishwasher and you don't have the screws, any wood screw, just like a 1/2 inch or about a 1/2 inch screw will be good. So then you can use a drill, but it's not that hard to just screw it up by hand. So we got our 2 screws, put those in. Don't drop your screw. Don't lose it. All right, we're almost done here. So we've got this nice and square, looks great. We're gonna do the connections inside here. I'll do my best to try to show you. Yeah, let's go in there and check it out. All right, so I'm gonna do the water connection first. So try to make it so you can see this as good as possible. I get a better view in there after for you. But again, I got my 3/8 hose here. I just screwed onto my 3/8 valve. And I always like to back up anytime I'm tightening something, I like to back it up. So you put one wrench on the other thing and then you tighten with the other wrench. So you're kind of pushing, you're tightening, and then you're just holding with the other hand to back it up so you don't twist the PEX or the copper or whatever it is. I've seen guys do this without backing up, then they wreck the pipe up here and destroy it. So always back up your pipes when you're tightening. Even loosening depending on the situation. Just gotta go nice and snug, and again, we're always gonna test for leaks, so if it leaks, just tighten it more. So we got our drain hose, and we got a gear clamp. Gotta make sure you got a gear clamp. Most dishwashers don't come with them. I would probably get one of these, but they do come with these other clamps that kind of like, they're annoying. I don't like them. I always replace everything with a gear clamp because they work real good and they're easier to work with. So again, you got your dishwasher Y. You just slide drain hose over top of it. Now the size of the drain hose, not everyone's going to be different. So a lot of times you're going to want to check to see what size of drain hose you have before you start installing. There's a chance sometimes you got the wrong stuff or you put the wrong Y in, and then you got to make sure you got the right size Y for the right size drain hose. And then you just tighten it. This is a 5/16 nut driver. This is actually just a multi screwdriver. It just happens to have all the little nut drivers built into it, which is quite nice. These don't need to be super tight. Again, just test it, and that's the hookup under the sink. All right, so we're gonna come in here and turn our water on. All right, so we're gonna come in here and test the water. It's been turned on. We got no leaks here. You want to test there, wherever your connections are. You'll test this after you run the dishwasher. Just check here for any leaks. Then you come back under. If you have the connection in the front, check it. Right now we're just sitting with pressure. You always want to make sure you check with it running too. All right, so now that you've got your dishwasher installed, you're gonna want to test it. I'm not gonna do that in this video, but just make sure you turn it on, put it through a cycle without dishes. There should be just like a quick cycle, do a rinse cycle or something. Test all your joints, make sure it's good. If you have any questions at all, we do have a Facebook group. You can go in there, it's the Plumbing Gurus. You can send us pictures, you can ask us questions. You can leave a comment in this, but please do leave a comment, but it's a lot easier for us to dissect your problem if you actually join our Facebook group and send some pictures and ask us the questions. Again, it's the Plumbing Gurus on Facebook. It's an open public for you to come in and ask any questions, whether it's about this or anything else. So Hopefully you learned something out of this, and hopefully you can now have the confidence to install your own dishwasher. And thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.